Len Coleman, 1304 Wanning Avenue. On the motion for the Exeter business privilege tax, the ordinance, when I was here in December for the 2 preliminary budget meetings, it was budgeted $32,500, and I believe at the time it was 13 businesses at $2,500. I actually have a two-part question. The first part of the question is, I see now it's going to be $500. Will that $500 for the businesses, will that cover the $32,500 that was budgeted for 2012? And the second part of my question would be, I know all of the towns are looking for money. I was just wondering if council had looked into possibly, and I did bring this up at the preliminary budget meeting, if they could possibly sell the delinquent taxes that haven't been collected from 2010 and 2011, just like Luzerne County is doing. I know they would get a smaller percentage, but that would alleviate some shortfalls that might help out in the beginning months of the year.
Mr. Coleman, I could address the second issue, and then the first issue maybe somebody in the Finance Committee could address. The possibility does exist for the borough to sell its delinquent taxes, and there are services that provide that. That's something that I guess the Finance Committee and the Council can look into as a way to generate some revenue. So there is an option. As far as the first issue, Mr. Esposito, was that something like that?
Yeah, what happened was we do not know exactly how many businesses in Exeter Borough may grossed how much money per year. And we sat down one day, Mr. Pizzano, myself, a couple of other people, and we spoke to Mr. Pepe downstairs to get us a sort of an idea which way to go. And nobody could give us a fact number on exactly how much the tax would give us at what level, because the Don Wilkinson agency cannot give us a figure on what businesses make, and they can't go out and find a figure either. So after going through the town about 3 or 4 times, Joey, we thought if we do $500 to all the businesses that gross that, which comes out to about 50 businesses, plus we'll be okay. We'll come very close to the figure we need, and plus do some other cost-cutting moves.
So you're saying 50 businesses at 500?
No. About 50, yeah, 50.
It was, I don't want to interrupt, but the way that it was explained was businesses, doctor's offices, any kind of, I guess, money generating, whatever you want to call it. And it came up that we're not just singling out individual places. Like in the beginning, it was, I guess some people said 12 at 2,500. We came up with that number. So what happened was when he broke it down, because how did he give it to us at first? Based on earned income tax, and that's how they gave us the first round of information. And you couldn't get a true answer from the earned income tax because it didn't tell you how much they were making, and we still don't know. That's the reason that it could be adjusted. Next year might be $1 if you made enough to cover whatever that budget item is.
But my point being, since $32,500 was budgeted, you would need 65 businesses at $500 a pop, correct? That would give us $32,500.
Okay. I mean, you can talk to Joe about that. I don't know. I'm not on the finance committee.
We found out some other ways to cut some expenses, all right, out of different line items in the budget, plus the the $25,000 from this tax.
Mm-hmm.
That will give us more than enough, we think, at this time. You also have to remember, we have to put this in an escrow account, because we cannot use this until the end of the year, until we know for a fact or before then, if the tax is going to be legal.
So if we can't use it, we'll still be in a shortfall.
Yep.
Okay, that was basically what I was asking. Thank you.
Windows 17 from 17's Pizza, 1925 Wyoming Ave. Question on the same motion. Curious, who's going to enforce that the payments are actually going to be made, that people are actually going to pay them that owe it, and what happens to people that don't?
Great question. But we were informed by Don Wilkinson agency, once we pass the tax, or once we pass the motion, At that point, they have the right to question the business. Up until that point, they don't have a right to go into the business.
But who's gonna enforce it when the payment's not made?
They do.
In the
We
la-
will enforce it, ultimately it's our responsibility, but they're the ones who start the whole process. Just like if you don't pay your earned income tax, or you don't pay some towns have the $10 right to work tax, or whatever it's called, they enforce it. on behalf
The
of
reason
us.
why I'm questioning it is one of the last taxes that came up like this was an amusement facility tax. Play Plaza was the only business to pay it. And the other businesses never made a payment, and then to my knowledge, nothing ever happened to other businesses.
The way it's supposed to work, the way the ordinance provides, is that everybody who qualifies, falls within that, has to register. There's a registration process, there's like an application that's in there, and there's a permit or a license. It's not actually a license, but there's a recognition that you've registered. So there's a registration requirement. The actual tax would be something that you include with your tax returns, whether it be Don Wilkinson or whoever the tax collector is for the borough. You'd get a statement, and that would have to be included with your tax return. So the registration requirement, as the ordinance is proposed now, gives everybody up until, I think it's April 9th for this year, to register, and you can do that with your tax collector or tax service provider. And then next year, it would have to be by January 15th. So that's how we get people on the books, so to speak. And then the enforcement, the tax collector enforces it, and if the tax collector doesn't do it, then the borough has a right to actually enforce it. There's penalty provisions.
But that's gonna actually happen this time?
Well, I'm telling you what the ordinance says.
All right.
And
Excuse me, Linda, I think the last time we were supposed to enforce it, the borough itself.
Right.
That ordinance still stands, and
I understand that.
it's still not being.
That's why we're going out and subcontracting all our collections out in our tax collections. It's easier, that's why we do the sewer, our Lemon Valley Sanitary Authority collects our sewer fee for us. Instead of used to do it ourselves, and some people fell between the holes, or through the holes or whatever. This way,
Very good, thank you.
Are you saying there's people out there should be paying this tax that you mentioned that aren't paying it now?
I would assume so.
Okay,
I mean, there are places that still have that kind of business in town. But
okay.
it's just that's one that fell through. I mean, I don't know what happened to that. And another one is the recycling tax for businesses. There's many businesses that, as the ordinance states, all business should pay that. I mean, a lot of people do it, and a lot of people don't. And that just goes, I don't know what happens there either.
Recycle tax.
Linda, we looked into, I know another business addressed some concerns, and the people that they said that aren't recycling are, and they have purchased recycling.
Every business is now in town?
I can't speak for every business, but if you're saying businesses /
They're
restaurants,
working on it.
it's being addressed, because another business brought it up.
What was the first ordinance?
What was the first tax?
It's the amusement facility tax. There's two. There's the amusement machine tax, which is the one, which is $150 a machine. Then the amusement facility tax is 5% on the register a month for any amusement facility.
Which means what?
Which means if I made $100
But on what?
on my regular amusement ring. So every time somebody came in to play laser tag, 5% went to the borough. That's the way that read. So I had to send a check to Don Wilkinson every single month, and it was 5% right off my sales. Boom, boom,
everybody
boom.
wants to be able to report who's delinquent. Whoever our tax collector
Don
is,
Wilkinson is the
They're
one.
collecting this? Don Wilkinson.
I presume so. But
They're
whoever our
sure.
tax collector
I had to
is-
send that to Don Wilkinson.
Okay, yeah. So they would be the ones to give us a delinquency report, right?
But how did they get notified that somebody is doing the amusement?
That was the zoning officer that used to come and make sure that, at that time, the zoning officer came and told us, handed us letters and saying you have to make sure you send these into Don Wilkinson. That's how it happened at that time. That was Mr. Farrell.
I think we call it a golf tax. I think that's the way we refer to it.
What do we
Is
call it?
that golf tax, Joe?
Golf?
Yeah,
No.
remember?
that was separate, I think. It was-
No, golf was in there.
Was it?
Golf
in
was
this?
golf was in there.
It was a
and,
user tax.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna get through this. Come hell or high water. I'm gonna get through this. If it's the last thing I know, I'm gonna stand my ground. I won't let them keep me down. Even if you've got to carry me